If you're stuck on an annoying level in Cookie Run Kingdom and want to know what cookies to build to never be in this position again, then I got you covered. Yo, what's going on guys? It's Mookie, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 5 best epic cookies you should be building and working into your teams in Cookie Run Kingdom. This video is going to specialize in PvE, so stuff like story mode and dark mode of the world exploration. I will be breaking it down into where the cookies excel, their best topping builds, as well as alternatives in case luck is not on your side. There's no order to this list as each cookie excels at something specific, and with that all said and done, let's jump right in. Starting off the list, we have Pumpkin Pie Cookie. This cookie is a magic class cookie that falls in with the conjuring cookies like Licorice and Cotton, as Pumpkin Pie's ability summons a creature to the field known as Pompon. Pompon will be summoned and have a percentage of Pumpkin Pie's defense and HP, however the attack percentage will be proportionate to Pumpkin Pie's skill level. When initially summoned to the field, Pompon will do an AoE attack causing up to 3 enemies to receive 70% less healing for 3 seconds. This can be helpful to counter a couple stages through chapters 10 to 13 that have really strong healing units that sometimes out-heal your DPS. The second amazing thing Pompon does is provide a 45% attack speed buff to all summoned creatures on the battlefield. So once again, things like Licorice's minions and Cotton Cookie's sheep herd will benefit from this buff. Lastly, this is something worth mentioning as it has been patched in some areas, but I find it still bugs in other areas, and that is the fact that sometimes Pompon will take a really hard hit over another cookie that was meant to be targeted. For example, the boss battle of Raspberry Cookie in 11-27. There was a loophole that if you made Pompon have the highest attack with using things like the Pincushion Treasure, then Pompon itself would take the huge TKO hit over another cookie, which essentially made this level extremely easy to 3-star. This has supposedly been patched, but while recording my video on that level, which if you guys haven't seen, then go peep that one time, you know what I'm saying. I noticed that it still worked, just not all the time, so I didn't use the method as it wasn't as consistent as I'd like it to be, but who knows, maybe there's another area this cheese could work. For Pumpkin Pie builds, she's best put on a full almond set to be able to last as long as possible in the fight. A nice hybrid almond / searing raspberry set with high damage resistant in substats is also a viable option. For replacements, Mint Choco isn't bad here as it provides heals and an attack speed buff to all teammates, excluding summoned creatures this time, so the opposite of Pumpkin's buff. Again, if I had a choice between the two, I'd pick Pumpkin to invest in first. Moving on to the second cookie, we have Cotton Cookie, a quote-unquote support cookie that honestly is just plain and simple busted. She provides so much that she can easily replace multiple roles in a team. The general gist of this cookie is that she summons sheep as previously mentioned, and these sheep will do passive damage as they attack alongside other cookies' auto attacks. It is important to note that when they are initially summoned, they rush forward and stun any enemies in the front line. So for those of you struggling with some levels, this ability used at the right time can be the difference in winning or losing. Similar to Pompon, the sheep herd's stats are proportionate to HP, defense, and this time attack of Cotton Cookie. The difference here being that Cotton Cookie's skill level up is towards the healing. Oh, I didn't mention the healing? Yeah, so she heals. While the sheep are active, Cotton will heal all cookies on the field based on whatever the skill level is. So in my case, 17% of Cotton's total attack every 1 second for 9 seconds. A quick thing to mention, as you can see in the gameplay, all the cookies are healing different values. There's 2 things going on here. First, I have a treasure that is boosting my overall attack, making Cotton heal more, but that's not what's causing the noticeable difference for all the cookies healing. In that case, we would be looking at the Amplify buff bonus that will be taken into effect. Simply put, to see the healing potential, you need to focus on Cotton's max attack located on this screen. If you use any treasures that boost the attack of a cookie, this will also boost the healing, so it's simple as multiplying Cotton Cookie's base attack by the treasure and adding it to the base value. So in my case, I would take the 14,866 base attack and multiply it by my treasure, giving me a total of 20,530 attack, rounded up. This is known as my total attack when I enter a battle, as I'm almost always using the scroll treasure. Now take that total attack and multiply it by a healing value, so in my case, 20,530 times 17%, as that's what Cotton Cookie heals for, and you get a number that's 3,490. So my Cotton will heal 3,490 for every cookie on the field. Now I know the math seems a little off in the video, but most gacha games, including this one, use whole numbers and not decimals, so if I'm a little off, it's due to my math being precise. Now the Amplify buff is something else we need to discuss. It's also pretty simple. You just simply multiply the number of your healing by the number of the Amplify effect. So I'll take my 3,490, and then if you look at my Eclair cookie, I have 3.8% Amplify buff. So 3,490 times 3.8% you get 136 rounded down. Now you just add that to the overall healing of 3,490, and my Eclair should be healing for 3626, or something in that ballpark. This means if a character has amplified buff as a substat, and you have a healer on the field, they will benefit with a nice little bonus heal on top. Now I know that was a lot to take in, so if you're still curious about how these mechanics work, please ask away in the comments below. I myself am currently learning alongside you guys, but I do like the theory craft around games like this that have a lot of math to take into consideration, and it's just simply fun for me. So if you want to learn something new, or maybe I genuinely missed something, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Moving on to Cotton's build, she's best put on a full Swift Chocolate with high attack and cooldown stats as a focus to provide lots of healing as frequently as possible. She can also get away using a hybrid Swift Chocolate and Searing Raspberry to fill both of these stats easier. For replacements, Parfait Cookie is a great healer and buffer that can fill the role until you get Cotton, but quite honestly, Cotton is just too versatile to have a 100% proper replacement. Now for our next cookie, we're going to be talking about Dark Choco. I understand that Dark Cacao recently came out and he's basically outshines Dark Choco in every way, but one is a legendary cookie and the other one is an epic cookie, and of course this video is all about epic cookies and below, so that's why I'm sticking with Dark Choco. In terms of his ability and role in the team, he's a charge cookie, and that means he's front and center, ready to take all the hits and tank them out for your team. Now this is why I would pick Dark Choco over the other defense breaking cookies such as Princess as well as Kumio Cookie, as his ability stacks. And what I mean by this is if you're hitting a character that takes up more of your screen, when his ability is going through them, you'll notice that the number of defense break goes up. I've seen this number hit 4 and it simply just stacks on top. So if you see this number at 2, it's 40%, 3, 60%, and of course 4 would be reducing the enemy's defense by a whopping 80%, leaving your big DPS to clean up with ease. For this reason, I think he's a staple pick for the guild boss, as you can stack that up to 4 times as I said. However, that doesn't mean you always need to stack 4 times to get crazy amounts of damage. His basic 20% defense break is still amazing for world exploration. For Dark Choco's builds, he's best put on a full almond set as he is the front line and you need him to be able to last in the fight and take those hits. Damage resistance stats are what I would focus on the most, and in my opinion, I would put more amplified substats on him so he benefits more from the healers on the team. For replacements, Kumio Cookie provides the same debuff, but isn't as effective in PvE in my opinion. And for rare cookies, Princess Cookie provides a 15% defense break, which can be beneficial until you get Dark Choco, and obviously Dark Cacao is way better, but again, he's just harder to obtain. For our next cookie, it's going to be all about Eclair Cookie. This cookie falls in line similar to Dark Choco with the fact that Eclair Cookie brings a weakening effect, and this weakening effect can also stack up to 4 times. However, where it differs is it can only affect up to 3 enemies at a time, and it targets the enemy with the highest attack first. This effect will give 1 stack each time it is used, and the stack will last up to 40 seconds, meaning it's really easy to get to that 4 stack. Quite honestly though, you'll only notice the full 4 stack if the enemy doesn't die quickly. So when things like the guild boss is where you'll usually find you can get that 4 stack consistently. Now what makes Eclair Cookie absolutely busted is the fact that the weakening effect is considered something separate than the defense break effect, implying you can have both going on simultaneously, increasing the damage even more for all your DPS cookies. Speaking of DPS, Eclair himself actually does nice damage. Alongside this, whenever you kill an enemy that's affected by this weakening effect, it will give you a shield on your whole team that is equivalent to 25% of Eclair Cookie's max HP for 3 seconds. This is just a really well-rounded kit on a cookie as it synergizes so well within itself. You pop the skill and enemies take more damage, and you have a chance of killing them with Eclair because he deals high damage, and you get a shield if the enemy dies. What makes it even more broken is the fact that the shield resets immediately after killing an enemy. So like I said, you can only apply the effect up to 3 enemies. If you kill one of them, it's a shield. If you kill the next one within a couple seconds, that shield will be reset back to its full shield capacity as well as a new 3-second cooldown. For Eclair's builds, he has multiple builds for different roles. For a full DPS, I would suggest a full Searing Raspberry set with a focus on crit and attack in substats. For a tanky build, put on a full almond set as you need him to be able to last in the fight. Damage resist stats and HP for his shield are what I would focus on. For a straight debuff machine, full Swift Chocolate is what I'd recommend to get his ability off as quickly as possible. For a hybrid tank / team player, I would follow my personal build of Swift Chocolate and Almond as it provides the best of both worlds and is just effective. I would focus on HP, cooldown, and damage resistance to substats. In terms of Eclair's replacements, this is where it gets a little crazy as I wouldn't replace this character as they don't have an easy second best option due to them being too unique. If I had to, I would replace the entire role with a DPS or extra healer or something of that nature. Moving forward onto our next cookie, we're gonna round off the holy trifecta of conjuring cookies. From cotton cookie to pumpkin pie, now we have licorice cookie. What he provides with the ability is pretty decent AoE damage, he also summons minions, and he provides a 20% defense buff for the whole team. Where Licorice excels over the other cookies is if built right, he can have the minions on field all the time, as well as the defense buff up almost all the time. In the gameplay, you can see I have an 8-second cooldown. Now I understand this is due to my Jelly Watch being max level, as well as the current build I have on him. However, I am free to play, and if I can make it to this spot, you guys can do with just a little bit of grinding. Anyways, we have an 8-second cooldown, and the ability lasts for 7 seconds, implying I have a 1-second window, which in actuality is 2 seconds due to the animation speed, where I don't have a defense buff. So he brings constant passive damage in his minions, and almost a permanent defense buff for the whole team. That's just nuts. Now I'm going to be throwing in 3 honorable mentions. I think these cookies are also good investments once you get all of the previous 5 mentioned cookies into a good spot. Starting off, we have T-Knight cookie. T-Knight is arguably the best buffer in the game as he provides amazing buffs for damage dealers. He provides an attack buff for the 2 highest attack cookies and a crit buff for the 2 highest crit cookies. Usually these 2 stats will be on the same cookie, meaning your highest attack cookie should also be your highest crit cookie. T-Knight himself can be built to have the highest attack and crit as he benefits when a teammate dies, and the buffs he gets are no joke. Obtaining 50% additional attack and 20% attack speed per fallen teammate truly makes him a beast. These buffs do stack, and to be real, he has soloed me multiple times in the arena as his damage output can be insane when those buffs hit their max potential. Only reason he didn't make the list is due to him being a charge cookie. He needs some pretty good investment if he's gonna be in the front line. Things like attack, HP, defense, damage resist, and crit should all be considered and prioritized to see amazing results. These results are just not easily obtainable for new players, hence why the honorable mention. Moving on forward, we have Affogato cookie. Affogato cookie is the newest epic cookie to the roster, and honestly, I think he's amazing. Only reason he's not on the main list is I just pulled him last night, and although I'm impressed, I simply do not have enough information to say he's a must build right now. Being a new bomber cookie, his damage potential seems truly amazing. It may even outshine Mushroom cookie, so keep an eye on this cookie as he may fit into your team just right. His ability curses the highest attack enemy with an effect that prevents them from obtaining buffs. On top of that, that enemy has debuffs amplified on him by 30%, meaning defense breaks, attack breaks, HP block, etc. all are 30% more effective. This cursed enemy is also poisoned for 10 seconds, taking a lot of damage and spreading a weaker poison to nearby allies. If the poison is cleansed, it will release a huge AoE attack on all enemies. So honestly, this cookie is going to be a pain to counter. I'm sure he will be added in many PvE teams as making debuffs stronger is a huge deal for cookies like Dark Choco and Eclair, and the poison passive damage is always a nice touch. And lastly, we have Vampire cookie. This ambush cookie is my favorite cookie in the whole game as he just destroys enemies with ease. His ability makes him teleport to the enemy furthest in the backline and hit them with an extremely hard-hitting single target hit. It also heals him 15% of the damage done, so it's a win-win. This cookie has helped me complete almost every boss stage in the game as it just deletes bosses from existence. Only reason he's not on the main list is clearly I'm a little biased and he's just a single target hitter, so AoE nukers usually outshine him on non-boss stages. So if you follow this guide and build these 5 cookies, or I guess 8 in this case, then you should see amazing results as these cookies will carry you so far into the game and you can have so much fun with it. On top of that, don't be scared to build some cookies on the side. This is just a guide, you don't have to follow it verbatim. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and make sure to check out my social media links down below. Included in there will be my Twitch, where I stream a couple nights a week, and if you guys wanted to swing by, it'd be totally fun. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your time again. Have a great day or night wherever you're from, and peace.